Elizabeth Barrett Browning said this: light tomorrow with today. I have behind me a hundreds of years old yew tree, I think. I do love that wisdom of when's the best time to plant a tree, and the answer is 20 years ago, maybe hundreds of years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree, and the answer is today. And Elizabeth Barrett Browning is saying, light tomorrow with today. What we decide to do, to think, to say today will have its effect upon tomorrow. Light tomorrow with today. Good day to you. This video is going to be about an amazing kind of sight. You've heard of hindsight. It's a great thing to have, isn't it, hindsight? But we're going to talk more about foresight and how we can improve our foresight even without foreknowledge. Hindsight is a luxury afforded to those in possession of more knowledge. Hindsight's a luxury afforded to those in possession of more knowledge than they had at the point of the original decision. Foresight is a much more useful form of vision and sight, which we're going to explore now. A glass house is a great place to illustrate today's message. When I launched into my January messages, we talked about Janus, the two-faced God, the two-headed God really, who looked to the past and to the future. But there's another kind of sight that I'd like to share with you today to get us thinking about it, and that's hindsight and foresight. So for most people, there is a time in their life, or several times in their lives, where they go, with hindsight, that would have been a better decision. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? And it can lead to regret and other unhelpful states of mind, unless we learn from it, of course. But there's nothing we can do about it except learn from it. What I prefer instead is foresight, and a greenhouse like this Victorian glass house here is a really good example of foresight. When you know the seasons of life, you know winter is coming, you know spring is coming, autumn and summer. And so what gardeners have done, and horticulturalists over the years, is had the foresight to build a structure that helps the seedlings come along ready to be planted, or protects the plants from the cold of winter. It's a bit like having a pension really, isn't it? A pension is a foresight of a time in your life where you would like to be a little less active in the world of work, though not necessarily less active. So you have the foresight to put aside those funds for the future, and we talk about putting aside funds for a rainy day. What I want to talk about today though is not that kind of sensible financial planning, but a much broader picture. And the broader idea is foresight linked to a timeline. Now, I have made some really crazy decisions in my life in the moment, and it seemed like a good idea in the moment. But if I had put that frame in a larger timeline, I wouldn't have taken some of those actions, and I wouldn't have made some of those decisions. So one of the easiest ways to harness the wisdom of foresight is just to increase the time frame. If I go on living like I'm living at the moment for the next year, what will happen? And we'll have that foresight. We'll look into the future. Right, so if I don't change my behaviours, what will happen in a year? And that's a measure of foresight. What would happen in 3 years? In 5 years? In 10 years? In 20 years? If there's no change, what will happen? Because we keep on doing what we've always been doing, we'll always get what we've always been getting, apart from the randomness of life and nature. So it's a great question, isn't it? If I keep on doing what I've been doing for the next year, what are likely to be the results if I have that kind of foresight? What about 3 years? What about 5 years? What about 10 years? What about 20 years? And that can be a great motivator to make some positive life-enhancing changes. The other aspect of foresight that I'd like to focus on is not a time-related one, but more breadth and depth. I realised many years ago that life is very much a package deal. You might like somebody else's house and you think, oh, I'd love a house like that. And then when you look at their lifestyle, you might find that they have to work very, very long hours in an unpleasant place, in an unpleasant job, with unpleasant people to pay for that beautiful house. That's the package. So with foresight, you go, do you know what, if it came to a choice between the house and living their full package life, I think I'll forego the house. Foresight then is really helped by thinking that life is a package deal, and this is like an ecology check. You know, if we change one part of nature, then everything attached to that element of nature changes with it, is transformed. So let's think about our future today and go, okay, if I keep on living my life the way I have been, what will be the difference in a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? And if there's something I aspire to, what's the package to do that? What have I got to give up? What have I got to do? What have I got to practice to achieve that desire? See the broader picture and the longer picture, and I think we'll make some choices that with hindsight we'll go, that was a good choice.